Welcome, football fans. You're live. Third down with Morgan Holder. I am Morgan.
And I'm the great holder.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say you're the great. Maybe the old greats, but I don't know about greats.
Welcome to the show. This is the show where we listen to anything, nothing Morgan says.
It's going to be a pretty different show this afternoon because it's on the Thursday instead of the Wednesday. But I want to go ahead and give my shout outs. I want to go ahead and give my shout out to Undisputed with one of the greatest tight ends ever in Shannon Sharp. First take with the best sports analyst Stephen A. Smith and Good Morning Football, the best breaking news football show out there.
And with that being said, I'm going to lead off with sending out prayers to families in Nashville that were victim to that shooting at the Covenant School. Mine and Morgan's prayers go out because we're both parents, and for something like that to happen is just horrifying.
Yeah,
that being said, I mean, yeah.
You know, hold on. I forgot to even add that. I don't know what I wasn't thinking. I just can't believe that somebody can go in there and do that to kids. It's unbelievable what people can do. The sick mind going through people by doing that. And I feel for safety for the generation coming up of the young kids because God, we don't know what's going to happen, and it's sad.
It is. It is unfortunate that that's the world we live in today, and shootings have gone. Do you know that we've had 198 mass shootings in 2023, and we haven't even hit April yet?
I did not know that. I did find out. I did find out that from 95, I want to believe from Columbine, 95, 96, something like that from Columbine to now, there's been about 1,000 or if not more school shootings, which is unbelievable because it's like what is going through people's minds? Like for some odd reason, if you need someone to talk to or if you're having a mental breakdown, please get help. Don't take that to the next level. It's very, very serious.
People are selfish, and it's a shame. We're the only nation that's having to deal with this. We're the leading nation for these type of tragedies. But hopefully, through protests and other things, we'll get it straightened out, and hopefully, the government can do something positive.
Definitely.
Let's move on to football. I want to send my shouts out, and I have an extra shout out again.
Another one, huh?
I have another shout out. I want to do my first shout out always to the man Ryan Clark at the Pivot. Super Bowl safety champion, the best, football up close talk show anyway. And of course, there's Get Up, and then there's what's that? The Pivot. I mean, not the Pivot. Speak for yourself. Pat McAfee. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready. I can't believe you got Pat McAfee right.
Ready? What? Pat McAfee shows the greatest.
Well, last week you couldn't remember his name. You said the Colts kicker, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Go ahead with your last one.
Anywho, the Ramon Foster Show with Dan Kovacevic and Ramon Foster.
Okay.
Great podcast. Matter of fact, I was on that podcast last week, and they responded to one of my notes, and very positive. Very positive. Matter of fact, if you see signs at Steelers games that says ticket line, that came from me.
Hold on, I'm just gonna tell you something real quick. You act like a little girl who's seen the NSYNC or Backstreet Boys concert and got touched by one of them. Oh my God, they said my name. You are something else.
Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? The greatest franchise in football.
I wouldn't go that far.
What are you talking about? The Minnesota Vikings are talking about Trey Lance. What kind of? Obviously, they see something in Trey Lance that other teams don't.
I think the greatest football team out there is the 49ers.
No.
Why'd you get quiet
No.
and then say no?
I said no.
Speaking of,
No, why would I say the 49ers? They only have 4 Super Bowls.
Are you sure? Are you sure about 4? Are you sure about that?
4 or 5.
Are you sure about that?
I know it's not 6.
I didn't say 6, but I mean, you said 4.
Well, I mean, how could they be the greatest if we have 6 and they have less than we?
We're about to find out.
I mean, come on. I mean, we're not talking about the Minnesota Vikings here.
You're a hater. You are a hater. You are a hater. You know that? Can't believe you.
I do mess with you, but I know the show isn't about the Vikings today. But
it would be nice though, right?
They have been very quiet in free agency.
They have. By the way, they have 5, not 4. Just FYI.
Okay.
Just
well, that still doesn't make them greater than the Steelers.
They almost had. They could have had 6 if it wasn't for Ray Lewis.
We blame Ray Lewis for a lot of things.
I like Ray Lewis. He's one of my favorite NFL
the only
players.
Linebacker that ever made a quarterback go just tank out was Von Miller.
Oh, God. Sorry, Cam Newton. But yeah, Von Miller, by far.
Into Cam Newton's career.
He was a nightmare for Cam Newton. Cam Newton still sees him in his sleep. That's why he's trying to come back. Oh, man.
Yeah, Cam Newton don't like horses.
Oh, no. Speaking of Cam Newton and quarterbacks and linebackers, man, it's been a wild year in the NFL. Some different names going to different teams, different names thrown out there about getting traded that you never thought about. It's wild. It is wild. And then free agency. I mean, like you said, Minnesota has been quiet. There's some big names still out there that a whole bunch of teams can get still for absolutely nothing, pretty much. And it's crazy that these names are out there still. I mean, especially Kareem Hunt. Like, yeah, he might have messed up in the past, but he's still a hell of a running back. I
don't like him.
You don't like Kareem Hunt? I think
he's a woman beater. I can't go with that.
Hold on, time out. First of all,
I can't go with that.
He did nothing.
You talk about Deshaun Watson.
Let me tell you something. Hold on.
Kicked a woman on the ground.
She called him a racial slur. She called him a racial slur.
Her in the stomach.
She should have kept her mouth shut.
Put your hands on a woman.
I don't condone.
Come on,
I don't condone a guy hitting a woman. But here's the thing. Everybody was so happy and like on board with Ray Rice until they see the video of him knocking out his wife.
Thank you.
Kareem Hunt didn't knock out no woman. He just kicked her.
He kicked her in the stomach when she was on the ground. First, he pushed her to the ground. Then he kicked her. No, I'm not. Kareem Hunt is not.
We don't know what transpired in that besides what the video shows. And the video shows.
Okay.
The video shows her saying something racist.
Holder, I do not condone men putting their hands on women.
I'm with you, but I mean, it was he did it once. It was in the past. It was once. He did.
He was caught. Okay.
It was just a one-time thing.
Regardless,
he paid his time. He paid his time. He was suspended for a whole year.
Put his hands on a woman. Sorry, done. Deshaun Watson, done. Ray Rice, done.
Okay, so
done. Any of these people.
So hold on.
So-called men in skirts.
Before we move on to the next name I have, let me ask you a question, Holder. And you can say all you want. No, no, no. Kareem Hunt did more time by being suspended a whole year than Deshaun Watson, and he's still facing a lot of charges. So what do you have to say about that?
I have nothing to say about that because those are two athletes that I don't follow and I don't care about.
I believe the
I don't care what if they go to jail, if they get the electric chair, if they get hung. I don't care.
I have a belief saying, and I believe this in my heart, that the NFL is okay with what Deshaun Watson did than what Kareem Hunt did, and that you can't do that because both of them was in the wrong. I get it, both of them was in the wrong, but
they were both in the wrong. And you know what? I digress. I'm sorry, listeners out there, but that's just how I feel about men, not just athletes, but men that put their hands on women. So with this list of available free agents, now speaking of free agents that were available, but that now are not, I did not see that boomerang with Bobby Wagner.
Oh yeah, he went to see. I didn't see him going back to Seattle. That's crazy because the way Seattle did him, I thought he was done with Seattle. I didn't think he wanted to go back to Seattle, but he went back to Seattle. Let me ask you a question. Where does that place Seattle at? Does that place them on defense as a good ranking, or is that they're like need help still on defense?
Oh, they need more than Bobby Wagner.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you because I honestly believe that they're going to face, like I said, like 2 shows before. I believe that they're going to be in either in third or second place. They're not going to win that division. Not going to win that division, especially with Geno Smith. Geno Smith was a one-time thing, and it's crazy to say that, but it was. It was a one-time thing. I don't think he can do it again.
Well, you know what? The proof is in the pudding, and he's got another season coming up. But like you said, I mean, he's been on tape before, but I think the NFL now that he put that show on last season, I think they're going to buckle down. They're not going to underestimate him.
Oh no, and you got to think there was a lot of injuries that occurred. New players come on teams trying to figure out the system. So there's a lot that happened last year in the NFL, and teams that went to the playoffs, I was mind blown that went to the playoffs. So let's find out. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm about to say this next name, and this next name, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not gonna say legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He needs the Super Bowl before he retires. Is Julio Jones. I love Julio Jones. One of the greatest receivers out there. One of the best out there, I should say. And like I said, he's a Hall of Famer. He deserves a Super Bowl ring, and I want him to win one before he retires. He's great. He's awesome.
Well, I think if he's going to win one, it's going to be on Madden.
I hate to say that. I have to agree with you. I mean, but again, I mean, he's a vet. Give him the vet contract. Give him a vet max contract, and I feel like the 49ers would be a good fit for him. So,
yeah,
not
I can't say I didn't like Julio Jones. I did like Julio Jones, but I think he's just too far gone.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in his prime.
Injuries and everything.
End of his prime.
As far as helping a team to achieve, the ultimate goal, I think he can be a great addition. But
he will be one of those guys that will give you that mindset, the vet mindset, the one that can help you, can give you the locker room leadership that you need. That's what I feel. I feel like he can have that great leadership in the locker room.
Yeah, he can definitely have leadership role. He can kind of mentor younger guys and
definitely
route running or reading defenses, that type of thing.
I mean, I don't think Debo needs that because Debo is one of the best receivers in the league right now. I don't think Debo needs it, but like the young guys on the 49ers team, I think he could help the young guys.
Yeah, I think he would fit in just about anywhere, but he's definitely not that guy that's going to have, he'll probably have like a 600-yard season.
I'm gonna say 400, just because again his age, injuries, and he's not a big threat no more. But he's still good. He again, I would say mentor, leadership, something like that. Somebody who's been to the Super Bowl and is hungry again. Give somebody advice, right?
Yeah. Or you can use him as a decoy.
That's true.
Maybe he can draw a double coverage. But I don't see how in San Francisco, if you got Deebo Samuel there.
Well, you got Deebo.
Defenses would pay more attention to Deebo than they would Julio.
What's up? I'm saying you could bring Julio in for maybe on 49ers as a third receiver. When Deebo goes out, bring in Julio. Or when the other receiver on the other end gets hurt or gets tired, bring in Julio. There's a lot that you can do with that. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I mean, I say the 49ers, but I honestly wouldn't mind Julio going to the Minnesota Vikings because I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, but I wouldn't mind Julio going to Minnesota.
Oh, you're already getting Trey Lance.
We don't know that yet. It's not official. But there has been talks. There has been talks about that.
Trey Lance. Wow, man.
So while we're on the 49ers,
you never know. It could be coaching, too. Coaching could be.
And that's the thing. Kevin O'Connell.
His failure.
Kevin O'Connell has. I think he's helped out Kirk Cousins a lot last year. Besides that dumb play he did, in the playoffs. But we're gonna talk about that right now.
Yeah, I didn't think you wanted to. I'm actually shocked that you brought it up.
I can't believe I did. Shot myself in the head with that one. The next name.
Mind the listeners what he did?
No. Threw the ball 8 yards short of a first down. I'll tell you that. Start. Other starts is being terrible. The next name I'm going to throw out there, Holder. This name has been brought up through many franchises, such as the Cowboys, Minnesota. A couple other teams has been on the radar for this guy. I don't know why, but Odell Beckham Jr. He isn't the great receiver anymore that people thought he was in New York. When he went to Cleveland, and maybe because he was with a sorry quarterback, I don't know, in Cleveland, but when he went to Cleveland, his numbers declined.
Yeah, well, I've never been an OBJ fan because I don't think he has the right mentality. You saw him blow up on the sidelines. He got into a fight with the kicking net. The kicking net won, and then there was another game where he got on one knee and proposed to the kicking net. I don't think he has the right mentality, the right mindset.
Do you think he's going to be another
big kid? He's a big kid, man.
Do you think he's going to be another AB? Do you think he's going to let his talents go so far and then screw him up like AB did?
I think he's a distant cousin of AB in the mentality department. But I don't think he's. Look at OBJ. Okay, and then you look at the number of teams he's been. Right, a prime-time great player does not float around the NFL that much.
No, well, he's been Cleveland. He's been the Jets. Been with the Rams. Well, the Rams only was like a couple games though, because he came in during the playoffs. I think so.
He's been around the league, and he's like begging for teams to take him.
And I'd say this, but any team that takes him, I think, would be desperate and as needing, as a wide receiver spot. If I was a team, I would pass him up and draft one in the draft this coming draft.
Yeah, I think if you draft a guy like OBJ, you draft stress for your quarterback.
Oh, definitely.
He's going to be demanding the ball.
Definitely, and if he goes
throwing the tantrums, and he's going to have this bad relationship with the quarterback,
and just don't ask out there. Just don't ask, if he goes to Minnesota, I think JJ's way better than he is, and it's going to cause conflict with JJ in Minnesota, and JJ's going to demand the trade. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want the headache. So any owners out there, I wouldn't. Don't take the headache. We know Jerry Jones is Emma. We know Jerry Jones would go after terrible players. Look at T.O. Look what he did before he went to the Cowboys. So
yeah, I mean they've had their share of. They've taken risks on a lot of players that Pac-Man Jones.
Pac-Man Jones, forget about him. Yeah.
All these guys that were bad for the locker room. Right, so you hear all these, such and such is interested in OBJ, and such is interested in OBJ, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you get that with Rodgers and
oh, yeah, because I forgot Rodgers wants him to go to the Jets. Like, why would you want to go to the Jets? You already know what he's going to bring. I mean,
the Jets are building a positive roster right now.
Don't drag it down because that one bad apple can make the whole environment go bad.
Yeah, I don't think OBJ is. I just think OBJ should just.
He should retire.
Call it quits.
Yeah, I agree.
He should call it quits.
Retire.
But somebody will pick him up. Somebody, maybe the Panthers.
Man, if I was the Panthers, I would not. The Panthers has a good receiving core. I mean, they're not young, but they got a good receiving core right now with Adam Thielen and DJ Chalk. I wouldn't bring in OBJ. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. Maybe the Houston Texans.
Didn't they let Moore go? Was that them or was that the
No. The Panthers did trade DJ Moore to the Bears, yeah. but they also picked up Adam Thielen. They picked up DJ Chalk. So, see what happens.
So you're saying Thielen is better than OBJ?
Oh, hands down. He don't complain. He might get hurt, but he doesn't complain about not getting the ball. He don't complain about, I'm better than you. I need the ball more. No, he don't.
He's more of a team player than
Yeah, absolutely. He gives back to the community. He helps out the team. He's a great receiver. In my book, he's a great receiver. I don't care about stats when it comes to him. What he does is great. You don't see a lot of players do things that Adam Thielen does. He's one of a kind.
True.
So.
Who else you got that's available out there?
Man, I'm surprised. I mean, I know the Bengals picked up a tackle from KC, but there's teams out there that needs to build a line, and there's some tackles out there. We're starting off with Taylor Leon. He's available. I don't know much about this guy. He's only played a handful of snaps. He's a young guy. Do know that he came in, I want to say 2020. So, or 2019, but it's a young guy. I mean, build around. If somebody needs a line and they want to go for a cheap line, he's one of the guys available. Why not go after him?
Yeah, but I don't know much about him myself. But I know there's quite a few, and if they haven't been going or been signed to teams yet, either they don't hold any value. Because a guy like that, you probably get him to add depth.
Oh, definitely.
But these guys that have left, I mean, what is it to say about these guys? I mean,
and hold on, not to cut you off.
Too much for them?
Not to cut you off. I believe that teams don't recognize that. Hey, there's some linemen out there that's available. That's pretty cheap. Maybe the vet contract, or maybe 3 years for $500,000. I don't think teams look at that ideal like we do. Like, we're sitting back and we're like, holy moly! Like, if we was GMs or coaches, we'll go after these players because they want less money, so we can build around young players like you could Jefferson, or like you could Kenny Pickett. Like, build around those guys for ages to come. Like, okay, we'll get this player for 2 years with this much money. That means next draft we'll draft somebody to help that player mold. You know what I mean? People don't think about the outside of that stuff like we do.
Or why not save some money from a cap hit and just draft, and then your leaders that are there now, or your experienced players, mold these young guys.
Well, because you gotta think some of the linemen now are younger self, like Christian Dillashaw, who we have. He's young, so I mean, if you wanna vet the mold of these young guys, I don't think it would be somebody that's been in the league for 2 years. You might need somebody who's been in there for 5 or 6.
Right.
So and that's me. That's me. I could be wrong, but that's me. That's how I look at the big picture.
Well, I mean, that could be right. I mean, when you look at free agency and you look at these guys, and some of these guys, have a good rap sheet, and some of these guys, I mean, you look at the experience levels, but some of these guys aren't. I don't know. I mean, if realistically, if they haven't been signed yet with everything that's been going on in free agency, right, like a madhouse, would an OBJ already have been signed?
I believe right? I believe OBJ wasn't the type of player he is. I think he would have been signed already, and that's me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is me.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, these guys that we're talking about today, either they're going to be added to add depth, or just maybe used in certain packages.
Oh, absolutely.
Not a lot of snaps.
There's a couple tackles and guards on here who played a lot of snaps and didn't give up more than like 3 to 7 sacks a game or the year. So you look at that number, you're like 3, 2, 2, 5, and 7. Like that's phenomenal. If you play, half the season of these snaps and you let up only, that means what, a sack a game. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. And you look at that and you're like, man, like there's teams out there that can actually use you guys, like the Cincinnati Bengals, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Minnesota Vikings. You can do that. And you'll be like, man, like these guys are really not wanting a lot of money. Why not go after these guys? Like Cameron Fleming, he's a tackle. He only allowed 7 sacks last year, and he played half the snaps of the regular season. So
yeah, but that's not a good number if you only played half.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Like, I mean, but that again, I mean, we don't know if he was injured because I didn't go in depth to look at this guy. I should have, but I didn't.
Okay.
But we don't know if he was hurt. What happened? I do know that teams out there can maybe mold him, make him better.
True. Yeah.
Like definitely like George Fant. He only allowed 5 sacks. He only played 500 snaps. And then I know this guy. He did get hurt. I did look at him. He did get hurt for a little bit, but only 600 snaps and you let up 5 sacks. That's not bad. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No, but
yes. I mean, sacks. I mean, with as fast as pass rushers are and all this stuff nowadays, you'd have to be pretty dang good to allow less than 4 sacks.
Oh, definitely. And Holder, I know you're a Pittsburgh fan. I'm not trying to say Pittsburgh don't have a good line because they got two of the great linemen in his past free agency. I just want people to know, like, teams out there might need these players to use if someone gets hurt or if a tackle gets tired or some shit, something like that, in that assumption. So I'm not taking shots at Seattle, or I'm not taking shots at the Steelers for nothing. But I'm just looking at the big picture if someone gets hurt or if they get tired. Because, they go 100 yards. You never know what can happen. They might get tired in 10 plays.
Yeah, as far as I know, they've signed 3. One for sure is a starter. And Saliomoa.
Oh God, yeah, that's a big loss for Philadelphia. That's a big loss for the Eagles. I can't believe they let him go.
Oh, that's a huge loss. I mean, for the Eagles, they have.
And he played all season. By the way,
the cap has killed them this season. Right, they had to let go of great defensive players, key components of the defense.
Yeah, they only kept Slay.
Just like Kansas City when they lost Brown Jr.
Oh God, right? yeah.
Yeah,
they went to Cincinnati. Absolutely.
I mean, these are key guys that are protecting your $500 million quarterback. right? And you let them go. You had no choice but to let them go. Now, either they know something that we don't know, but a guy like that, you think you try to hold on to him.
And both of them linemen played all year, by the way. So let's not forget about that. They only allowed, I think they was tied for first in sacks. I think they made maybe one sack of none. But that's crazy to play all year and you laid up maybe one sack. Maybe. And I say that because I'm pretty sure both of them didn't lay up a sack, but be on the same side, let's say one sack. And it's crazy because that's gonna I think Pickett's gonna have a good line this year to matching Harris, as you know, with his running game. And I think Cincinnati ain't going to match that because they got one good lineman. Well, the Steelers went out and got three good linemen. Two of them's going to be starters for sure. So, I mean, Pickett's going to have his blind side help for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and I think with this season, too, Pickett's got a lot. Pickett has got himself experience to know what he needs to work on.
Oh, and
in the offseason.
Definitely. He's gonna be the Joe Burrow of this year that Joe Burrow has been for the last 2 years. Pickett's gonna take up that, and Pickett's gonna be the one I'm talking about now, and it ain't gonna be Joe Burrow. Even though I had Cincinnati winning, even though I had Cincinnati winning that division 2 shows ago, I'm looking now like, man, like I need to revise and relook at some things and maybe push some juggles and see what's gonna happen during the draft down, come back to talk about who's going to win those divisions because I don't think Cincinnati's going to win that division now. I hate to say that, but I don't think they're going to win.
With the 2 middle linebackers we went out and got, and hopefully we can get Bud Dupree back for the outside. And then we got Peterson, and hopefully we'll get a Sauce Gardner type corner in the draft. Man, it'll be interesting.
Well,
it'll be interesting.
Speaking
about Joey Porter Jr., but
Holder,
speaking of that kid Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois.
Oh God, yeah, I see the highlights of him. But
kid can cover, he can hit.
But we have some deep backs that we're going to talk about later on in the show that might help you. You might be like, okay, we'll draft one and get one of these guys. It could be a big help. But we got a few more tackles here. We're going to talk about like Billy Turner. He allowed 2 sacks, and he played all season. That's phenomenal. That's going to be a big loss, but it's phenomenal.
I mean, yeah, but why is he still available?
You know,
that's the question.
That is a good question. That is a good. Was he injured? Prior to last year? I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's teams out there that need to build their offensive line.
Oh, for sure. Like Brandon Shell, he allowed 2 sacks, even though he played half the season because he wasn't a starter. But he allowed 2 sacks. That's phenomenal. And for him not to be a starter, I think he should be a starter with a number like that. He played 1,500 snaps, allowed 2 sacks. It's impressive.
Yes, that is pretty impressive.
Dalton, and these names I'm throwing out there, maybe listeners look these names up and let us know next week, or even email us, and I'll give you that stuff at the end of the show. Let us know, hey, like this player has, is doing this, and this is why he's only allowed 2 sacks. This is why no one's picking him up. Please give us some feedback so we'll know too, because even though we're trying to do research, we also love you guys to do some research and let us know what you guys are thinking too. Dalton Rinsner, he's a guard. He allowed 3 sacks. I mean, so there's some line players out there that needs to be signed. It seems like if I was an owner, I'll probably bring one of these players in to see what they got.
Dalton Reisner.
You know much about him?
You're fired.
Reisner. But you know much about this guy though, Holder? Anything about him?
No, the name sounds familiar, but I can't. But I I do know the next name that you're going to call out.
And before you say anything, Holder, let me ask you a question about this next guy. Do you think he is done for in the NFL? Do you think he should just hang him up and retire?
I think he's done. If he is to be used, it would be to give your starting guy a breather.
You can go ahead and say the next name. I want you to say this next name. I've been saying names all day. I want you to do this.
I want to say this next name was a beast in college.
Whew.
A beast his rookie year. Now, wasn't he drafted by Houston?
He was by the Texans. The first pick, he was.
Yeah, first round, Jadeveon Clowney.
Injuries happened with this guy, and then he went to Cleveland. I think he was going to be a monster hitting the NFL, but injuries caught up with him. I liked him in college. I love the guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was the talk of the NCAA. I mean, the guy was, his motor always ran high. He was a very physical, very fast, the defensive juggernaut. And like you said, injuries. He just got plagued with injuries, just constantly hurt. And
man, if him and
after a while, those take a toll on you. Man.
It does. If him and JJ, man, if he was healthy enough to play with, because him and JJ was playing on the same team for a little bit. If he wasn't injured a lot, I think him and JJ would have helped that Texans defense out. That probably would have made a push to the playoffs.
Well, they did. I think they were in the playoffs.
I think they got.
They just didn't, because they had a good offense.
Oh God!
And if Jadeveon was 100%, they would have led the league in sacks.
Oh man, he was a monster. He was a monster.
But if the team picks him up now, it should just be to give their key guy a breather for a couple of snaps,
or maybe put him in a package, a few plays. I don't think he's a starter anymore.
Hasn't produced.
And I thought him going to Cleveland was going to be a big thing because of him and Garrett playing together, but that didn't do anything either.
That's what everybody thought. But Cleveland was a Super Bowl team on paper.
On paper, yeah, they was. Right. But playing against teams.
Paper, that's all the analysts were talking about was Cleveland going to the Super Bowl.
Well, they had Jarvis Landry, they had OBJ, they had him, they had Kareem Hunt, they had Nick Chubb. They was supposed to be a phenomenal team. And I'm gonna tell you, coaching, quarterback was not good enough for that team.
Yeah, definitely coaching, and the quarterback has a wrong mindset. Yeah, everybody wants to win, but when you're a rookie, and you're telling veterans what they need to do, too cocky in the locker room. The team they weren't disciplined. That first season they played after that roster was built, too many penalties.
Oh,
too many unnecessary penalties.
And dumb penalties at that. Like penalties you like head scratching, like, why'd you do that? Yeah. It's crazy.
They had the game in their hands, and there was a unnecessary roughness penalty or something like that.
I think the biggest one was when in the playoffs when they played against KC in the playoffs, and I don't think it was Patrick Mahomes. Who was it? Was it Alex Smith? I want to say, can't remember. It was a backup quarterback, the guy that beat the Browns, and that was who was that? Was it Chad Haney? Might have been Chad Haney. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But it was crazy because I think that there was a downfall of that team, of the Browns team. I want to say it was the first year.
Any player that goes through Cleveland, their career is basically shot.
I have to agree with you. no pun intended, Cleveland fans.
And you come out over the hill.
Oh, definitely.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Holder.
Yeah.
And like you hit the head on the nail though when you said players go to Cleveland and they're trash now. Because you think about this, Nick Chubb's he was drafted by that team, but I feel like if he goes to another team, he's going to produce better than when he was in Cleveland.
Well, and you know what? And that's just the thing. Nick Chubb is probably the only one, because when you think about all the quarterbacks, the first round pick quarterbacks they had, look at Jarvis Landry. He was a stud
in college at LSU,
in college and in Miami.
Oh God, he goes to Cleveland with OBJ, and it's like he didn't know how to play football no more. Couldn't catch, couldn't do routes right.
Yeah,
got hurt.
Passes, just on Jarvis Landry, right? And then there was him and OBJ are back together, because I think they played together in college.
They did. It came out from LSU,
and that was supposed to be, the magic. Never happened.
It was Never not happened. Magic. It was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Yeah, it was black magic. It was, and it just tanked that whole. It just caved in on.
It's like you playing with voodoo dolls, and you're just sticking this voodoo doll with needles. That's how Jarvis Landry was playing, and that's how Cleveland Browns are playing. Like, you're just sticking that voodoo doll in so many spots with these needles, and the Browns are sucking. Like, it goes back to the curse. What kind of curse does the Browns have? Because
I tell you,
because it was good when it was in Baltimore.
Ravens, when they left, they won a Super Bowl.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. The next name I'm gonna throw out there to you, Holder. Actually, I want you to say this next name. Do you think this next name is better than the next name below that? Do you think this name is better than Bud Dupree?
Negative.
You don't think he is?
Okay. So we're talking about Frank Clark.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's compare Frank Clark to Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree played decline when he left Pittsburgh because he went to Tennessee and they didn't play the type of defense.
Absolutely.
That Bud could be at his best then, right? So if you draft a player and you have a lot of high hopes for that player, you play to that guy's strength, right?
Absolutely.
If you want him to be productive, you let him play his game. You put him where he can be effective. And when you look at Bud Dupree's numbers in Pittsburgh compared to Frank Clark's, Bud Dupree is a guy that you would snag if they were both available. And they're in the systems that they were in.
Right.
But when Bud went to the Titans, he declined. He got the money he was looking for, but he didn't build any stardom. He didn't do any Pro Bowls, nothing. So this is what where do you see Frank Clark helping the team?
Maybe, like you said about Clowney, maybe when the Sorry gets tired. That's what I would say. I mean, honestly, I just don't see him helping any team, but who knows? Anything is possible, right?
Are you confident in him? Let's say your starter is injured and he's out for.
I'm confident enough to say if my starter's out for a game, yeah. Anything less than a game or anything more than a game, no, I'm not confident at all.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there.
Because he's not consistent enough. He's not. He might give you 2 good games, but those 2 good games, are they going to build up? No, they're not going to build up. Because next 2 games he might not do nothing for you. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. I normally don't agree with you because half of the time you're insane, but definitely got to go with you on that one.
Holder, since you was talking about Bud Dupree, man, that's the next topic. I know you're gonna be happy because and you was telling me this too. Pittsburgh is in talks about getting him back. I know you're gonna love that conversation that we're about to have. Do you see the Bud Dupree in Pittsburgh? Do you see him playing as a starter, or do you think he's gonna come in as a bench player?
like you said, they're talking to Bud right now, and I think Bud wants to go back. Of course, he's going to take less money because I think they have their guys with Highsmith and Watt, but he would be a reliever for them, and Bud can play on both sides, left or right. Right, so with Bud in that, even if you put Bud into that system, and one of your key guys is out for a couple of plays, or even gets hurt, you're comfortable.
Now,
Bud Dupree being in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Highsmith and Watt get injured last year for a little bit?
Highsmith was hurt probably one game, and Watt was out for what, early in the season.
It was like 3 games, wasn't it?
3 or 4 games. Might have been more than that because then he got surgery on his knee, remember?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about surgery on his knee.
He had a pec injury.
Yeah.
And in his knee, he had surgery. So it was like 6 games he was out.
So, and I'm about to ask you this question, and I know I'm about to sound crazy, but do you think Bud Dupree could move to linebacker, to like a middle linebacker position? Because y'all let go of Miles Jack. Or would you say no and just let him play on the left or right side?
Bud, if he was to be put in the middle, I think would primarily be for but Bud Dupree has played coverage. He's been in coverages. But I think they'll probably keep him where he is because we got a stud out there that's supposed to come into his prime, to the limelight this year in the middle. I think Bud Dupree is best served hot on the outside because of his experience in that position. And he knows the defense. So you're not getting a guy in there and he's got to learn the playbook.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
He knows the playbook. So it wouldn't be any different if Diggs came back to Minnesota.
You're right. You're right. I mean, it would be. It would now because we have a different coach. Unlike you guys, have the same coach.
You have a different coach, but I mean,
different system.
Do you think the playbook has changed?
Oh yeah, because we don't do a lot of play action.
I mean, you already know Diggs can read defense.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Yeah. Okay, I agree with you on that one. Okay.
I mean, that guy. Even though he's a selfish player,
I wouldn't
can't take away from his ability.
Right. No, and I wouldn't want Diggs. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. Diggs is good, but I like JJ. I like JJ a lot. He's unselfish and he's not. He's a team player.
Morgan, this next player, I'm really shocked that he's out there.
Well, there's 2 of them that's coming up, and I'm shocked both of them are out there. I can't believe one got released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that's another one in a minute. But Marcus Peters, I am shocked that he's out there, like bad, like really shocked.
Yeah, he's not signed. We're talking about Marcus Peters.
Right. And that's what I was saying earlier. When I know you were talking about Joey Porter Jr., and that's what I was like, man, there's a couple on here that you might feel like you might want in Pittsburgh, and he's one of them.
Well, I think Pittsburgh is trying to get young because they're already young now. When you think about teams like Jacksonville and the Jets, right? These are teams that you want to match up with later on because
but you guys have
young.
So you guys will say young, but you guys have Patrick Peterson, who is old as dirt.
Right, but that's okay to have an old guy sprinkled into a young team.
Okay, I give you that. I give you that.
To build for the future. You're building for the future right now. So when you look at a Jets team, not just defense, when you look at a Jets team,
they're all young.
And how are you looking at the Jets now as far as being contenders?
You want to look in the future because they're all young. They're all young. Jacksonville, same way. I think that's why they let go of the next player we're about to talk about because they want to stay young, and maybe cap space, but because they want to stay young. There's teams out there who want these players, especially Marcus Peters.
Yeah.
But Again, he's a vet, so give him a vet contract.
Let me ask you this, Morgan. If you sign Peters, what kind of deal would you give?
I just said
give him a 1 year.
I'll give him 1 year vet contract for right now. Then go to the draft. Draft maybe a Sauce Gardner, surprisingly somehow. If not, sign for another year. Once his year's up.
So you would take the chance for a year. So you wouldn't reach out to a bigger contract, 2-year deal, 3-year deal.
So,
you don't think he's a 2 or 3 year guy?
Possible, but again, it comes down to cap space, how much money the team has, and if they really need a defensive back. If they need one desperately, I was on it for 2 years. If they got the cap space, 2 to 3 years. If they don't have the cap space, give them 1 year, then draft one.
So what do you give them, like a $3 million?
All right, so
1 year.
I'm gonna give you this, right? If Minnesota would reach out to him, Minnesota would probably do 1 year, maybe $2 million. But of the Steelers, because the Steelers has the money. If I was the Steelers and I reach out to him, I'll give him 3 years for $4 to $3 million.
I don't know. I like Marcus Peters. I just don't think. I'm not questioning his talent, but his durability.
It's true. That's true. I give you that.
Would he be healthy throughout the year? I mean, because you get a guy like the Honey Badger, right? Teams were kind of iffy about him
because of his durability.
But a hell of a ball player. Right?
Oh, hell yeah!
Ball hawk.
Absolutely.
So, and he was kind of quiet in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Right, this past season.
I don't think he did much.
When you look at New Orleans, I think that team would have been a lot better if they had an offense, But
for sure, a better quarterback. And the quarterback they got now isn't somebody who like, oh my God, they're contenders, because it's not going to happen. But yeah,
right,
definitely.
Do you think Marcus Peters would fit into New Orleans?
No. And the reason why I say that, and I'm not taking nothing away from Marcus Peters because he's way better than a roster in New Orleans. Way better. I honestly think he should be on a contender team, and New Orleans is not a contender team. That's me. That is me. Now,
Denver is going to be a contender team with not right away, huh?
Not right away. I will say Jacksonville's a contender. I'll say Jacksonville. The Lions, I'll give you those two teams are contenders for sure. The young, the hungry, the 49ers.
Yeah, but, Marcus Peters, where did he come from? Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, I want to say yes. Let me double check real quick because I know the next person we're about to talk about did come from Jacksonville. I'm gonna look that up real quick because that's iffy. I don't know if he was drafted by them.
No, I think Marcus Peters was
Baltimore.
Drafted.
He was drafted through Baltimore. So yeah, he was with Baltimore.
Oh my God.
So that's next topic, man. I can't believe he's still available out there. He's phenomenal. So
why is he still out there? Was he injury prone or
no? Jacksonville let him go because of cap space. Because of cap space. Man, it's mind blowing, and I'm trying to think why he's still out there because he's obviously really good, great player. Maybe Jacksonville's trying to straighten some things out to get him back. I don't know, but that's mind blowing that he's still out there.
So for me, because he is pretty good. He's pretty good. Now for me, I would sign him to use him as trade draft.
But why would you want to trade him though? Is the question.
I mean, to get an extra pick, right? Because teams, this year's draft is going to be one of the bigger, there's no really big receivers in this. It's a lot of defensive players in this year's draft. What is it? Maybe five quarterbacks will go in the first 10 picks.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and you may get a good third round guy if you use him as draft capital.
I'll give you that.
Because he's getting not up in age, but he's what is the word I want to use?
He's getting age to decline soon.
He's damaged goods, but he's still effective, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You just don't know. You just don't know when it's going to happen.
And here's the thing about him and Peters. I would get those players, but I wouldn't start them. I would put them in some packages, maybe as a third. That if someone got a third receiver out there, put them out there. But I wouldn't start them immediately.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Put them in a package. Maybe a slot corner, nickel type thing, or a dime. Who knows? But I mean, teams. There's a lot of players that are climbing that age ladder out there.
Oh, for sure.
And with the way that these college players are just booming with talent, right? But they're not NFL ready.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, you can see now how many guys have been drafted that didn't even, reach the goal that the teams wanted them to be. There's a lot of players out there that are drafted, and that's why I think players that are undrafted, when they come out and they try out, they got a bigger chip on their shoulder. And these guys that are going these high picks are like the prima donna type deals, right?
Right.
They're like, oh yeah, I know I'm going to get picked. Yada yada. You go to the team. Yeah, I'm sure they're humble when they get to the team, but a lot of them don't work out. Now, if you get an undrafted guy, he's got more to prove, right?
Right.
So, I think when you talk about guys like Peters and Griffin, they can either be mentors and, like you say, play in packages. But
yeah, I'll give you.
I wouldn't give them a lot of snaps. They wouldn't get a lot of snaps.
I will say I like the word mentor, leadership. I like that. The next player we're about to talk about, I didn't know this until just now, but he signed with Tennessee. I don't know much about this guy, but Sean Murphy-Bunting, he came from Tampa Bay. I don't know much about this guy, but he did get picked up by Tennessee, so he's no longer available. But Tennessee, talk about Tennessee, man. I think Tennessee's done for. I think they're just now trying to rebuild mode.
Yeah, you could be right about that. They're a lackluster team right now. And even if they're talking about letting go of
Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, both of them are
entertaining that dog.
No, I mean because he's still great. He's still in his prime. Man, but
I think Murphy-Bunting is a good commodity.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea he's in Tennessee. Like I said, I don't know much about him. I think he's going to be a good addition to Tennessee, but Tennessee, I don't know.
I thought he was signed already.
He signed with Tennessee last week. I didn't know that until this now. So I just don't understand. I don't understand. I don't know about Tennessee. I honestly, I want to say Minnesota should go and rebuild. We've seen the Steelers go in rebuild mode last year by drafting a quarterback, and I think there's a lot of teams that need to go in rebuild mode. Tennessee is one of them.
Absolutely.
I think the Colts need to rebuild. So, This is a crazy NFL off season for sure. I think it's different from last year. I think it's better than last year because it's like watching a TV show. You don't want it to end because it's like some twist coming up. You know there's gonna be twist. This is like that. It's like that so far. So,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Holder, do you have anything else that you want to add to to either it could be free agency draft, it could be trades. What else do you want to add real quick?
Right now I'm at wherever the dice is, wherever they fall. I mean, I think for the most part, free agency is done unless there's some kind of big, other than Rodgers and Lamar Jackson.
Those would be more like
free agency is done.
I don't
until after the draft.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I believe those two names that you just named, Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, I believe they would be traded during draft night. I don't think it would happen right now. I think it would happen during draft night. We've seen plenty of things happen during draft night, and that might be one of the two.
Yeah, teams come out and they shock you with these moves.
Oh, absolutely.
They move up or they trade down,
so
it's crazy. That's why I love the draft.
And we got a month away. I mean, I can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of the draft, next show next week we'll be on time. We'll be Wednesday for sure. We're going to talk about the draft next week, about the prospects and who should get who, teams drafting in the top 10. So I can't wait. It's gonna be phenomenal next week. I'm gonna love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With that being said, football listeners, subscribers, fans, man, give us your opinions, your thoughts, please. I would like to hear those. Holder would like to hear those. We both want to read those on the show. With that being said, you can reach us at Third Down, 3RD down with Morgan Holder at gmail.com. You can email us, or you can get on our Facebook page, Third Down. That's 3RD down with Morgan Holder. YouTube, comment there as well. Like, subscribe. Third Down with Morgan Holder. And then our Twitter page. Yes, we're moving up. Twitter, Third Down with Morgan Holder. With that being said, guys, I hate to do this because it's come to a close. I love our show. I love talking about football for sure. With that being said, don't let fourth down get you.
And I'm going to add on to Morgan's sign off by saying, what is that I normally say, Morgan? Is it state penalty free?
It is.
And make sure you guys tune in next week because I'm curious to know what Morgan has to say about the draft. So that being said, you guys take it easy. Enjoy your week because next week we're going to fill your ears with a lot of talk.